Here we are, some great tips on how to feedback to your designer or web developer. I took a brief break for a week, fell over a fencing accident, really hurt my shoulder. I'm all taped up from my physio, and I have a fencing competition tomorrow. And yeah, don't know how it's going to go, but we're here, we're back. And a lot of I seen a great post on LinkedIn about how to give effective feedback to designers, to web developers. I also saw a great TikTok video of a videographer that had a call from his client and basically said, I don't like the video. And from the brief conversation that they had, like 2 or 3 minutes, they found out that they did like the video, they just didn't like the song and they didn't like a clip that they used. And I think a lot of the time it can be very hard to sort of convey how you feel about a logo design, about a website, about anything in terms of creative, because everyone has different creative opinions and that is completely fine and it is completely normal. But there are some great tips and tricks on how to effectively feedback to your agency, to your freelancer, to your designer in a way that isn't going to make them throw their head against the wall and be like, well, if you don't like it, I need to know what you don't like. And that is a question that we always start these things off with is, well, what do you not like? Is it a case of, I don't like the color? Is it a case of, I don't like the font? I don't like the spacing? And sort of working from that as a starting point. When you look at something and you be like, I don't like that. What do you not like? Because as a designer, as a project manager, as a client, those are three different brains that are pumping into one project. And if someone isn't aligned on what someone wants or what someone likes or dislikes, then it's very hard to sort of put together creative thoughts and opinions and get it done. So we always love to ask for some examples of things that you like and things that you don't like. It doesn't mean that we're going to copy them. It means we can understand and see what your creative juices are saying about logos that you like or websites you like or a letterhead style template that you like. And we can take elements from that and the key sort of design pieces, concepts. Yeah, we'll go with that. And what we can include in our design from our opinion, from our research, from our talents as designers. So by breaking things down, and when you look at something, it's very easy to say, I don't like it. But then if you break it down into maybe like 5 or 6 steps, if it's a case of, I don't like this color because it's too bright, it's too dull, it doesn't look like this, it doesn't look like that. Okay, great. That's a great first step. If it's a case of, I don't like the overall concept, let's say, for example, you did a logo for a florist and you've incorporated some flowers within the logo. A florist might be like, I don't like that logo. And you're like, well, why don't you like that logo? Well, actually, I don't like this bit. Okay, so can you go into that a bit more detail? Oh, I don't like the flowers that are used because they're not ones that we sell. There aren't ones that go well together, etc. Very bad example, but you get the gist. So by putting all those different elements together, so we can look at colors, we can look at fonts, we can look at spacing, we can look at the overall layout. A great example of this is a couple of years ago, we did a logo for a psychotherapist, and we put hang on my shoulder, we put the company name at the top. And then below it, we put the iconography that we went alongside it and sort of weaved it into the text. And they said, I don't like the logo. And we said, what don't you like? Oh, I don't like the way it's positioned. I said, okay. What do you think about the color? What do you think about the font? What do you think about the icons we've used? Yeah, I love them. I was like, okay, so how about what if we do this, this, this? And all we did is we changed the layout of the logo. So we used exactly the same, everything we created, the colors, the fonts, we just moved it around. A bit like musical chairs. We basically moved the logo down, we moved the icons up, and we put it in a bit. So it's exactly the same concept. And instead of a designer then going to create a brand new logo, it's very easy because we know that the client likes it, but they don't like how it's laid out. So then all we need to do is put it in a way that the client has seen previous examples, things that they've requested, and we put it in and it all works quite well. And that is a prime example of someone saying, I don't like this logo. but then it's actually a very small thing that they don't like. And it is a completely weird and strange concept because, as I said earlier, everybody has different views and opinions of design. And it is so important that onboarding phase, the strategy call that you go through to understand the likes and dislikes, because when you're feeding back to someone, you can then refer back to things that you've done. So actually, I really liked how they did that on this website. Can we incorporate that into ours? And then that's a very clear understanding from us of what we can do. And then if there's something that on a website that the client doesn't like, for example, a testimonial carousel that scrolls across, then we know actually we're not going to include that because the client doesn't like it. So a lesson when you are talking to your agency, your graphic designer, your freelancer, go through in detail of the things you don't like, because it's very easy to say, I don't like that logo, when you only mean you don't like how it's positioned, you don't like how it looks. And if you can be a bit more um, detailed about the feedback you're giving rather than being general, it helps your freelancer, your designer, your whatever it is you're working with to understand and get into your brain a little bit. If we could get into clients' brains and understand and read their minds, we would be magicians. So go through each bit point by point of what you like and what you don't like, because then it gives your graphic designer a really good understanding and they can take that away and create drafts and revisions. And that is an amazing reason why we have revisions and drafts included within pricing, because no one is ever going to get a logo right the first time. We've only had it once or twice in like 6 or 7 years of offering logos as a service. So please be specific in your feedback. It's going to help and make your life easier and whoever you're working with life easier massively. Stay awesome, stay safe, but most importantly, stay nerdy.